Here is the enriched, high-value expansion of the provided content. 21. Output determination and delivery scheduling. This section defines the interface between the SAP system and the real world. It is the bridge between internal data processing and external commitment. Even if pricing, delivery, and billing are perfectly configured, the process fails in real life. If documents are not sent, a sales order entered perfectly into SAP is useless if the customer never receives the confirmation. Customers are not informed. Transparency is the currency of modern supply chains. Silence creates anxiety and support tickets. Dates are not calculated correctly. If the system promises a date that physics or logistics cannot honor, the contract is broken immediately. Output determination ensures the right document, format, or content reaches the right party, sold to or billed to or carrier, at the right time, immediate or scheduled or batch. Delivery scheduling ensures dates promised are system-driven, realistic, and defendable. It removes human guesswork from the promise of delivery. Senior SD consultants treat this area as customer trust infrastructure. If this breaks, the implementation is viewed as a failure by the business users, regardless of how good the backend configuration is. Output determination. Output determination controls how SAP communicates with the outside world. It is based on the condition technique, meaning outputs are not hard-coded. They are triggered by specific business rules. It manages communication with customers, quotations, confirmations, invoices, dunning letters, internal teams, picking lists to the warehouse, production advice to the shop floor, government or compliance systems, electronic reporting, customs declarations, tax interfaces, vendors or carriers, purchase orders, intercompany, freight orders. Crucial concept: outputs are not just prints, they are official business records. In modern SAP S/4HANA, output management (BRF+) is replacing traditional NAST configurations, but the logic remains: data plus rules equals communication. For quotation AN00, AN00 is the standard output type for quotations. It transforms a system inquiry into a legal offer. Purpose: send commercial offer. Presents the material, quantity, price, and validity dates formally. Lock pricing validity. The output timestamp often serves as the start clock for the validity of the price offered. Create reference document. It provides a document number that the customer must quote back to claim the offered price. Key controls: trigger at save, usually configured to trigger immediately upon saving the quotation to ensure speed. Medium print legacy, rarely used now. Email, standard PDF attachment. EDI, electronic data interchange for B2B automated procurement. Language determination, automatically selects the language based on the customer master data. Partner function, usually sends to the sold to party, SP, but can be configured to copy a contact person, CP. Real project insight, greater than if quotation output is wrong. Example: incorrect Incoterms or payment terms. Disputes start before sales even begin. The quotation output is the first impression of the SAP system to the customer. Order confirmation BA00. BA00 is the handshake. It confirms that the vendor agrees to the terms proposed by the buyer. BA00 confirms. Order acceptance: we have received your PO. Price: this is what we will charge, overriding PO price if necessary. Quantity: we can supply X amount, which might differ from the requested amount. Delivery dates: the specific date the goods will arrive. Scheduled lines: this is often legally binding. In many jurisdictions, the order confirmation acts as the final contract. Audited during disputes: if the customer claims I ordered 100, the defense is we confirmed 80, and you didn't object. Controls: trigger at save or release, often held back if the order is on credit block. The output is only generated once the credit manager releases the order. Output timing: immediate, V4, versus scheduled job, V3. High-volume businesses often batch these to avoid system load. Partner: can be sent to sold to, SP, and copied to bill to, BP, or a specific procurement contact. Senior rule: greater than, never allow silent order creation. If an order is created but no output is generated, the customer assumes nothing has happened. This creates ghost orders. picking list or packing list or delivery challenge. These outputs are logistics critical. They represent the transition of ownership and physical movement. Picking list, EK00 or other. Internal warehouse document, not for the customer. Directs activity, tells the warehouse operative exactly which bin to go to and which batch to pick. Automation, in modern warehouses, this output is often an iDoc sent to a handheld scanner or an EWM system, not a piece of paper. Packing list, PL00. Physical description, shows how goods are packed, cartons, pallets, containers. Used by warehouse and transporter, essential for the truck driver to know how to stack the load. Customer receiving, the customer's warehouse team uses this to check off goods before they see the invoice. Delivery challenge, delivery note, legal transport document, proof that goods are moving from point A to point B with permission. Compliance, critical for tax authorities, GST in India, VAT in Europe. Without this, the truck can be seized. Proof of delivery, POD. A signed copy of this document returns to the company to prove the customer received the goods. Consequences of failure, warehouse stoppage. If the pick list doesn't print, the warehouse team stands idle. Legal penalties. Transporting goods without a delivery note or challenge is illegal in most countries. Shipment delays. Trucks wait at the gate while IT fixes output issues. Standard invoice or credit memo or debit memo. These are financial and legal documents. Once this output is generated, a tax liability is usually created. Controls include tax layout. The format must strictly adhere to local government regulations. Example: QR codes for India GST, XML structure for Brazil NFE. Legal disclaimers, mandatory text. Example: interest charged at 18% for late payments. Language must often be in the language of the destination country for customs clearance. Output partner, usually the bill to party, BP, or payer, PY. Medium, rapidly shifting to e-invoicing, XML sent to government portal, approved, then sent to customer. Senior insight, greater than billing output must be legally correct first, customer-friendly second. A beautiful invoice that misses a tax registration number is a compliance violation. Cover invoice or cancellation invoice. These manage the life cycle of errors in billing. Used for export documentation. A commercial invoice acts as a cover for customs, distinct from the internal tax invoice. Invoice reversals. When an invoice is wrong, it must be canceled. Cancellation invoices must reference original, must explicitly state cancels invoice 12,345. Clearly show reversal. The values must negate the original posting. Be auditable. Auditors track cancellations aggressively to prevent revenue manipulation. Never allow greater than manual FI reversal without cancellation output. If finance reverses the document in the backend FI, but the customer still holds the original valid invoice, SD output, the company is liable for tax on a sale that doesn't exist. Output determination mechanics, conceptual. Output determination uses the condition technique, transaction NACE in ECC or BRF Plus in S/4 HANA. 1. Output types, the definition of the document, example. BA00 equals confirmation. 2. Access sequences, the search strategy, example. Look for specific customer plus sales org first. If not found, look for just sales org 3. Condition records, the actual data, transaction VV11 or VV21. If customer is X, send email to person Y4. Determination procedures, the collection of allowed output types for a specific document, example. A sales order can have a confirmation and a warning message. 5. Requirement routines, ABAP code that checks logic, example. Only print invoice if value greater than $0. Analogy, it is the exact same engine as pricing, but instead of finding a price, it finds a printer or email address. Common output determination mistakes. 1. Manual printing, relying on users to click print. This guarantees human error. Output should trigger automatically on save. 2. Wrong partner assigned, sending the invoice to the ship to address instead of the bill to address. 3. Wrong timing, printing the invoice before the truck has left. Goods issue. If the truck breaks down and doesn't leave, You have invoiced for goods that are still in your warehouse. 4. Missing legal text. Hard coding legal text on the form instead of using standard text, SO10. Making updates difficult when laws change. 5. No monitoring. Ignoring transaction SP01, spool request, or SOST, email transmission. Consultants must monitor if emails are actually leaving the SAP server. How senior consultants design output. 1. Identify legally required documents. Start with compliance. What must we send to stay out of jail? 2. Identify customer-required documents. What does the customer need to pay us faster? Example. Sending the packing list with the invoice. 3. Automate wherever possible. Use immediate timing for internal docs and scheduled job for external batches to manage system performance. 4. Minimize manual triggers. Disable the Add Output button for general users to prevent unauthorized documents. 5. Ensure reprint audit trail. Configure the output so that a duplicate watermark appears if the invoice is printed a second time. Delivery scheduling. Delivery scheduling is the mathematical calculation SAP performs to determine when can we fulfill this. It protects the business from over-promising salespeople saying yes to everything, unrealistic sales commitments, ignoring the time it takes to pack a container, logistics breakdown, the warehouse receiving 500 orders to pick in 1 hour. Core concept, the material availability date, MAD. This is the date the goods must be sitting in the warehouse, ready to be picked. It is not the delivery date. Backward scheduling. This is the default preference for most customer-centric businesses. Logic, greater than customer requested delivery date. Target. Subtract lead times. Result, material availability date. It calculates 1. Transportation lead time, time on the truck. 2. Loading time, time to put goods on the truck. 3. Pick or pack time, time to find goods and box them. Process, customer wants goods on the 10th. Truck takes 2 days. Must ship on 8th. Loading takes 1 day. Must load on 7th. Picking takes 1 day. Must start picking on 6th. Result, material must be available on the 6th. Used when customer date is fixed. Example. Just-in-time manufacturing. Business processes must align to meet the customer demand. Risk, greater than. If internal lead times are wrong, example. Picking actually takes 3 days, not 1. The system will tell the warehouse to start too late, and the delivery will be missed. Forward scheduling. This occurs when backward scheduling fails, i.e. the calculated start date is in the past, or when stock is not available yet. Logic, greater than material availability date, when stock arrives or is produced. Add lead times. Result, confirmed delivery date. It calculates earliest possible delivery date. The system tells the customer, you wanted it on the 10th, but based on our stock and logistics, you can't have it until the 14th. Used when availability is uncertain. Back orders. Production-driven businesses, make to order. Stock is currently 0, but a purchase order is arriving next week. Safer, but may disappoint customers. It represents the hard truth of the supply chain. Scheduling components. Must understand. The accuracy of scheduling depends on the accuracy of these master data elements, maintained in route and shipping point. Pick or pack time, derived from the shipping point. Does it take longer to pick a pallet versus a small box? Loading time, derived from the shipping point. Depends on the loading ramp capacity. Transportation lead time, derived from the route. The physical travel time. Route determination, the logic that selects the path. Departure zone, destination zone, plus shipping condition, plus weight group. Working days calendar. Does the warehouse work on Sundays? If no, the system cannot schedule picking on a Sunday. Transit calendar. Does the truck drive on holidays? Critical config. If the factory calendar attached to the shipping point says closed on Christmas, SAP will never propose a shipping date on December 25th. Real project scheduling scenarios. Scenario 1, FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods. Method, strict backward scheduling. Context, supermarkets impose fines for late delivery. Config, high volume, very short lead times. Pick or pack equals 4 hours. Calendars must be accurate to the hour. Scenario 2, manufacturing heavy machinery. Method: forward scheduling. Context: the machine is built to order. Config: relies heavily on ATP, available to promise, checks against the production schedule. Lead times include production time. Scenario 3: export, international shipping. Method: route-based scheduling. Context: shipping from China to USA. Config: transportation lead time is massive. Example: 30 days. Customs buffer days are mandatory config in the route to account for port delays. Common scheduling failures. 1. Delivery date promised but impossible. The sales rep overrides the system date because the customer shouted, forcing the warehouse to achieve the impossible. 2. Picking scheduled on holidays. The shipping point calendar was not updated for the New Year holiday. System scheduled picking. Nobody was there. 3. Transport time ignored. No routes configured. SAP assumes travel time is 0 days. The customer expects goods instantly. 4. Route not determined. Master data is missing. Zone assignments. So scheduling logic breaks completely. 5. Warehouse overloaded. Scheduling assumes infinite capacity. It will schedule 100 trucks for Monday, even if the warehouse only has 5 bays. Root cause: greater than scheduling parameters not aligned with reality. The system is perfect logic. The inputs, master data, are usually flawed. How senior consultants handle scheduling. 1. Map real warehouse timelines. Sit with the warehouse manager with a stopwatch. How long does picking actually take? 2. Validate calendars with operations. Ensure the factory calendar matches the HR holiday list. 3. Test with extreme cases. What happens if I order on Friday at 5 p.m.? Does it schedule for Saturday or Monday? 4. Lock configuration. Use transaction 0, VTC, and OVLZ to set strict rules. 5. Prevent user overrides. Restrict authorization for changing the delivery date field in the sales order, VA01 or VA02. Force them to accept the system calculated date. Mental model to lock in. Output determination answers. Greater than. Who needs to know what? Greater than. Greater than it is the voice of the system. Without it, SAP is a mute box of data. Delivery scheduling answers. Greater than. When can this realistically happen? Greater than. Greater than it is the clock of the system. Without it, promises are just guesses. Both protect customer trust. One ensures communication, the other ensures reliability. Final perspective. This section is where SAPSD speaks and promises. If SAP communicates clearly, perfect outputs, promises realistically, accurate scheduling, the business grows with confidence. The customer receives the email confirming the order, and the truck arrives exactly when the email said it would. If not, disputes increase. You didn't tell me price X. Sales credibility erodes. You promised Tuesday, it came Friday. System is bypassed. Sales reps start sending manual emails and calling the warehouse directly, rendering SAP an expensive typewriter. Senior SD consultants design SD so that greater than every document is sent automatically. Greater than every date is defendable mathematically. Say next when ready.